There were 2 pine trees right here. There's one now. You can see the limb on the ground back there. It's still raining and I don't really want to make it over there. Tree. This was a sweet gum and it's uprooted and fallen. That oak tree fell and is on our house. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update of where things are from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, as we're calling it. You can see we still had a whole bed that we basically were able to get leveled out. We had about a 50-foot oak tree where that umbrella is, and it landed on our home and took out half of this Japanese maple, which is really sad, and destroyed most of what was in this bed. So we're basically starting from scratch. And also we were able to salvage some things in this bed, but it was like we either really needed to like completely restake them and reconfigure them or move them. And so we decided to move them. I'll show you where we chose to move them a little bit later. But basically what we're hoping will come back is these pink back flags are where we've planted hostas. And we had some larger items in the front that we knew would provide shade. This gets morning sun, so now we are hopeful to be able to plant. I use white flags for noting in my head that ideally that's an evergreen, and the pink flags are deciduous or something that may be more of a perennial type thing or annual. And so the back pink flags are noting where hostas are. They actually look like they're gonna come up. We actually still see the like corms. I don't know if you can see that there. And then this guy we're not sure about, but those little roots there. And the other 2 kind of look the same. So we're hopeful they'll come back. We are hopeful that this bed can be, leveled out just a little bit more, and that we will be able to basically reconfigure this bed. We still need to redo this deck area. It got basically just destroyed. Well, hello, Cody. Hi, handsome. Hello. What you see that I don't see? We need to go? What do we? Anyway, we are looking to, it's on the list, hopefully soon, to be able to redo this decking. You can see it's pretty severely damaged, starting all the way back from here. It angles down, and so all of this needs to just be reconfigured. It was installed this way when we moved into the property, and so it's always been on the list to be able to restore it and install a proper deck, proper laying of the deck, and nothing like a hurricane to bump it to the top of the list. So that is something that is definitely on the list and we're working on, but but we also want it to be usable. We use this all the time to be able to come out of our backyard and into our garden. And so, we wanted to just leave it like this and kind of short up a bit over on this side until we were able to just completely rip it off and rebuild it pretty quickly, instead of it just not being usable for months and months. So anyway, this now leads that. So I've gone over this bed and what the plans were for this. I will mention that in the front too, I noted that the white flags for me, just so I can keep things straight and make sure I'm like hitting like winter interest, is evergreens. So I'm thinking 2 camellias here, because it gets sun, but it doesn't get a ton of sun, and it's actually going to get more sun than it ever has, because again, there was an oak tree here that blocked a good bit of it. And so but this, the way this house is, the afternoon sun, this is completely shaded. So I think in our zone, what are we now? 8B in Georgia, it will be protected enough to be able to withstand being right here. So we're going to try them, and being able to fill in some evergreens here on either side of our little medallion there, I think it would be really, really pretty year round and provide some really beautiful flowers. Over here on this side, we are looking to basically continue to improve this bed. Most things got taken out, and it honestly, when the tree fell, it almost like re-graded the bed. It's wild. What a hurricane can do. But you can see here, we need to come through and weed some of these things out. But this is a solar flare, and we were able to, the idea was to have a solar flare here, and then line this walkway with a solar flare, and then we even have one over there on that side. So, and those are technically like they look like this, like they look green year round. So that's some year round interest, and then it shoots up like really pretty vertical blooms throughout the summer season for us. And one of the things that I was doing was I started out with 3, and there were a couple of them. There were 2 of them that we basically split. And so this one here, this little guy, which is now 2. Look, that started out as 1 and now it's 2. And this guy, we were able to propagate, and so that was really cool, and they seem to be doing okay. The other thing that we're doing is intermingling these with yarrow, and the yarrow is actually like taking off. I'm super pumped about it. You can see it even like creating more like off to the side, and so I wouldn't mind some coming into the pathway. Now, I know this looks like a muddy mess, but just imagine in my head, what I have down is this to be like a flagstone walkway over to here, and this nice and mulched and and all cohesive with this. Now, one of the things that we had to do when we moved in here, we also had a couple of pine trees back here that we lost in the storm, and I'm not complaining about it because there's now going to be no more pine needles dropping in our yard. And so, but because we had so many pine needles just readily available and dropping in our yard, some of our beds, we just said, you know what, we'll pine straw. We use pine straw, which is very common here in the South. But my preference is black. Hi, Cody. My preference is more of a black mulch, which you can see again, excuse the leaves, we're still in somewhat of a cleanup mode. But my preference is more of a black mulch or compost look. And not to have the back and forth of like, hey, here's black mulch, here's pine straw. So it's an opportunity to be able to make it all cohesive, which is really exciting. And so imagine black mulch, our black compost for both of these, and then flagstones, large flagstones, taking you from this sidewalk over here to the little fire pit area. And one of the things that we actually transplanted from the storm, hopefully it'll make it. Looks like squirrels or something has gotten into it. See the little holes right there? Oh, they're exposing the roots. I need to come back and cover this a little bit with a little bit more soil. But this is a firelight tidbit hydrangea, and it should fill this area nicely, not get too big. Those stay pretty small. I believe it's 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. And with this Japanese maple here, you can see the poor limb that just got completely hammered from our beautiful oak tree. So that's kind of sad, but this may end up going. We just didn't have the heart to do it. We lost so many plants, and so we just and this was a staple. You can see how wide the base of this one is, and when we got this one, it was, oh goodness, it was a little bit bigger than that stem, but not a ton. I mean, it's probably 5 times in width since we got it, so it's kind of hard to take something like that out immediately. But anyway, we do have an opportunity here to kind of reconfigure this bed. I had some cat, it's either cat mint or cat's pajamas here, but I mean, you can see that they have just kind of had a hard time of it. I see a little bit of green growth. This year is basically going to be a year of let's see what survived for little things like this. And so I had 3 of those here. I had some Russian sage, 3 Russian sage in here, denim and lace Russian and sage in here, and I don't know that any of them are going to make it. They look pretty dead to me, but yeah. But we'll see. We want to give it a chance. But I will say again, kind of what is thriving is this yarrow over here. We have a lot of real thick, like clay soil here in this bed, and we're continuing to try to amend it to where it's a little, let me block my shadow, to where it's a little easier to get things to grow. But this yarrow is just like loving it. Look at all the little babies it's producing for us. And this one too. Let's see if you can see across from the weeds. But I mean, some of the little babies are even over to here. So it's kind of cool to see something in this bed feel like it's thriving. I don't necessarily have the space to have a lot of plants really propagate like this, but we've had such trouble in this, or like send offshoots like this, but we've had such trouble in this bed that I'm kind of just happy to see something really thriving, and I kind of just want to let them go. If they infringe too much on to the walkway, I don't mind if it comes over a little bit onto the walkway. I like that look, but if it infringes too much on it, well, we can basically take these, that's a weed. We can basically take these guys and move them to somewhere else. So anyway, that's the plan for this bed. Let's take a look. There's nothing under here. I basically put these here as a Cody block. If he sees some things in the yard, he wants to take care of it. So these were maybe this size when we planted them, and now they're to this size. So I think they really like it in this area, and I just wanted to protect them a little bit and basically put just some black pots in front of them so Cody would not run through them. Okay, let's see. Don't mind my shadow. Some other things that are in this bed that we're just not sure about is we had just planted a ton of hostas kind of in this area, and we're honestly just gonna have to wait and see if they survived. I'm hopeful they will, as so many gardeners that I follow say that has encouraged me over the years, is that plants are very resilient. And so we will see if these hostas will come back, and we're hopeful that they will. Our concern now is that because this branch from the Japanese maple is gone, that there might be too much sun in this area now. So I was playing with seeing about if I actually could put another evergreen right here, like a camellia. I forget the name, but it's a camellia that blooms white, and it's got multiple petals. And so we're trying to get that one to grow a little bit. And then if it does well in this area, then we may put it there, and hopefully it'll grow quick enough to be able to ideally produce enough shade for these hostas to still be okay. Because we planted a lot, like 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 or 7 maybe in this area. And so, oh, and then all here, all along here, I have some hostas. So we'll just see what happens with that. Right here we have cannas. They're like fire pink cannas. You can see all that, this maybe all of this area right here is cannas. This is kind of what they look like. Oh wow, they are already starting to kind of green up. I need to come in here and help these guys out a little bit. You can see a little bit of green over here as well. So this whole little area right here is where the cannas are. I have some salvias right here. To be honest, I have not had the best of luck with salvias. I was hopeful for them. I don't know if my area is just too humid, but I've honestly had more luck with salvias in pots versus in the ground. Maybe it's just because of our humidity and our heat and the amount of rain we get here, but I have an issue with the leaves turning black more pretty quickly, and I try to stay on top of cleaning those off, and then I'm kind of left with almost no leaves. So yeah, I feel like the salvias are a little bit still in an experimental stage, we'll say. I have a huge Monarda right here, a bee balm in this area. And I don't know if you can see, I obviously need to come in here and get some of this grass that's trying to grow out. But, well, yeah, there's a lot. I don't know if you can see the little blue, yeah, there you go. The little blue all throughout here. It is all over, which is really exciting. Again, don't mind the weeds or the leaves. Need to come in here and clean some of these up. Here's a nice patch. All of this is Monarda, so it looks like this will be coming back. I just might need to help it out a little bit and clean some of it up. But that normally fills in this area, and this area gets a decent amount of water, and so to be able to put a lot of things that can handle water well is ideal. Here is the other solar flare that I have. And this area, this corner here with the canna and the solar flare and Monarda does get more sun, and the salvia also too. The sun comes in from this direction and it hits these, where these are, this area is a little bit more protected from this Japanese maple. So anyway, this is an update on this area here, a little bit about our deck, a little bit about our Japanese maple bed. We still want to call it that. We're hopeful, but I will show you. Let me see if I can show you some of the buds that we saw starting to come out. See all these guys, these little buds. They all start. It might be a little cold now, but there's a lot of new growth right here, right underneath where we unfortunately had to remove that due to a tree falling on it, an oak tree falling on it. But we're almost just so hopeful, because we're like, hey, if one of these can create a strong stem, maybe we can save it. I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a stretch, but maybe hey, if anybody has any ideas, let us know. You can see this poor guy, where some of the damage was from the tree. I think even this was, there we go. Even this was some of the damage from the tree. So this guy may unfortunately go. But one of the ideas that we had, since we have beehives, we have an apiary on the other side of the yard. We were thinking to maybe put in something that could help feed them. And so one of the things Brian was looking at was, I think it's called a Vitex. basically like beautiful, I think like purple lilac flowers, and it gets pretty substantial, and I think it might could fill in this space nicely. But yeah, that's that's gonna be a hard decision to take that out, but we'll see. Anyway, this is just kind of, like I said, an update of where things are after the Hurricane Helene. Basically, this is the aftermath in this area. So just wanted to give you an update, and stay tuned for more updates. I look forward to this bed just actually looking purposeful again and fresh and clean. And then this bed is well on its way, and almost have like a fresh start with it. So anyway, see y'all next time. Hey guys, I wanted to give you an update in our garden, and I will do my best to remember what all Brian has done for us so far in the garden, but wanted to try to keep you updated. We had some ginger lilies that we were blessed with, and we had them right here, and they're so beautiful, and the bees love them. The honeybees love them, but they were a little too a little too almost like floppy in this area. This is a pretty prominent area. If I back up, it's, you know, kind of a focal point right here. And so what we did, I said, you know, I think I'd like them a little bit better if they were like staked up almost. And what we decided to do, we have this white picket fence here, and what we decided to do was basically just move them right along the fence here so they'd have a little bit more support. And if we need to put something in front of it to help it to like stay upright, then we can certainly do that. But I think I'll enjoy them, which means we get to keep them and the bees can enjoy them so much more over here alongside the white picket fence. This area basically, I want to say, got destroyed. It pretty much got destroyed. We have a lot of weeding and stuff that we still need to do in this area, and come back and fill this in with um, a little bit more topsoil. But we've tried to build this up. We basically have had to regrade this entire area and are getting there. But what we did, we actually used it as an opportunity to bring in some elephant ears that are right here and right over in there. And we actually put a red bud in right here. And so we're hopeful that this area gets, we know it gets a good amount of water, but between the elephant ears and this being a tree and the ginger lilies over there, that it'll help soak up some of the water. We have some monarda here that you can hopefully see. That whole section's a monarda, and this whole section's a monarda. Um, Here's a little bit of what's left of one as well, from the oak tree falling on it. But that should be, those should thrive and come back. They seem to be. And then we have some phlox here, that actually, I think I see it's trying to bloom. Do you see that? You see those blooms or buds? Oh, here's one. It's, yeah, I think it'll be okay. Again, don't mind the weeds. We need to come in here and get some of these out. And then we have some tick seed that are in here. Just kind of need to clean up around them a little bit. I still got some cleanup to do. But I think this bed is coming together. And in that pot up there, we have a blueberry. Oh, I'm so sorry. In that pot that's right up here, we have a blueberry bush, and flanking the other side right here is another blueberry bush. So these needed like to be able, I think, what is it called? Cross pollinate. We needed two here for them to be able to produce fruit. And so we have those there, and we'll obviously rebuild this area. And I'm trying to think of something maybe an evergreen rosemary or something right in here. So that way we don't have Cody rushing through here, and he can just stay a little bit more on the paths, because if there's not something blocking a pathway, it will become a pathway. Or blocking, if there's not something blocking a bed for him to run through, it will become a pathway. So anyway, still working on some of that. Brian just planted, I believe, I think this is ready to be planted. We normally put potatoes in here, so that I know is on the docket to be able to put in, and so can update you with that. These green stalks, we have strawberries in these back two, and then I believe we're going to be able to put in carrots in these, and we honestly need to fill them up a little bit more than this, but because the pockets are so deep, and we just had so much that we needed to do for restoration for this year, just with all the damages. Brian said this might actually, that this should be enough for what we're using it for. You know what, guys? This may be onions, so it's either carrots or onions. Sorry. He gets the wild hairs to come out into the garden and start planting, and sometimes I can't keep up, so I do my best, but I will update on that if that is different. And this is just some of the updates in this side of the garden. I thought I'd share with you a quick update. Brian let me know that there were onions in this green stalk, so I wanted to give you proof of life. The others are a little hard to see. They're all still, they hadn't sprouted yet. But this one has. So here's proof of life. There are onions in this green stalk.